Hi, my name's Ren, I'm 26 and I suffer from Lyme disease and M.E. And this is Lyme disease and M.E. Awareness Month, so I thought I'd start making videos again. I used to, and I stopped because I got too depressed with how little progress I was making, but you know what? I want to be part of a wave of change because it desperately needs change, man. I go to my doctors at the moment and they can't treat me. All over the world people are suffering. If you just start searching, like if you're a normal person and hasn't even heard about this, go into the support groups and you'll see the multitude of the amount of suffering that people are going through. For me to even be here talking to you, I'm on countless medications, drugs, supplements, very strict diet, just to function, and even with then I feel like crap every day. I woke up feeling like I haven't slept. My brain sometimes just doesn't work. I've got pain constantly in my legs, my feet, and the difficult thing is because it's not visible on here, like because I haven't got a broken arm or because I haven't got some sort of horrible rash or something, it's very much just inside, and people with things like MS or ALS and things like that will be able to relate to that. But the reason I'm making this video is in the light of recent events that since I've been sick, I was given the diagnosis M.E. for years before the doctors realised I did have Lyme disease, and since I've been diagnosed, every single person that I know who had the diagnosis M.E. who then went on to get tested for Lyme disease turned out positive for Lyme disease. So it begs the question, is M.E. actually Lyme disease? But I'm not sure is the answer to that. Maybe it's not, but one of the things, oh hang on, the crucial thing above all of that is that regardless of whether it's M.E. or if it is Lyme disease, there's not nearly enough research being done. People are left being to suffer, and I will not sit by and watch this happen for my whole life, where the medical community just ignores the fact that people are dying. Like, I can go to my doctor and they'll give me a couple of weeks of antibiotics and then that's it. If my symptoms persist, maybe I'm given emotional support to try and deal with the fact that I feel like crap all the time. But if you look at the figures of the amount being spent on Lyme disease or M.E., they're minimal in compared to other illnesses, and yet Lyme disease is one of the highest, fastest spreading diseases on the planet at the moment. The CDC, the Centre for Disease Control, just estimated that Lyme disease, they said a few years ago that it was 10,000 people a year maybe get it in America. Now they've 10 times that figure and say it could be closer to the millions. And it mimics so many other things, so people can be being diagnosed with ALS, MS, depression, all those sorts of things, and it turns out to be Lyme disease later on down the line, years down the line. They're like, I still feel like crap, I'm feeling worse and worse every day, I've got all these symptoms, and it turns out to be Lyme disease. So it begs the question, like, if we've got an epidemic that's spreading, why isn't more being done? And also, like, the treatments as we have it are, at the moment, if you find someone who is kind of brave enough to treat you, you will be given years of antibiotics. But that has also been shown to be prone to lots of relapses, and antibiotics come with a whole host of side effects themselves. So we're kind of left between in a rock and a hard place. And again, it begs the question, like, because why isn't more money being pumped into it? Because if you think about the drain on the economy, if all these people are being made disabled by a bacteria, then it makes sense to work out exactly what's going wrong. Is it an immune thing that's going wrong? Is it the fact that the bacteria persists and you can't get rid of it? Whatever it is, these people are being left disabled, and that is a massive financial drain on the economy. So if you put money into treating these things, there would be more money. So you're spending money to make a lot more. So if that is the reason that not enough is being done, that's what I give to you. Or if there's another reason, if it's just that science hasn't caught up yet with how to treat it, then just do more, please. But I've been looking into it. I've kind of been forced to find my own way, and a lot of people with Lyme will recognise this pattern where they've been kind of abandoned by the medical community, and so they'll be left to do their own research, find out what treatments work for them, etc. And they have to kind of make their own way. I've been looking into Lyme disease quite a lot, and there's a few things that jump out at me. So Lyme disease is Borrelia causes Lyme disease. Borrelia is the bacteria, and it's a spirochete in the same family as things like Leptosporidia and syphilis and things like that. I haven't planned this video, so forgive me if I pause and things, because this is just from what I know, and I'm just thought I'd just speak out loud. But so Lyme disease gets into the body, and it sheds these things called outer surface proteins, lipoproteins, and what they effectively do is they modulate the immune system to ensure that the immune system doesn't attack Lyme disease, Borrelia, and so it can persist. Why that's crucial is because what it does is it can also switch off an antibody response, and all the tests that we've got looking for Lyme disease tests for antibody responses, which means we're basically, it's not that the tests aren't effective, that people aren't being diagnosed, it's because we're looking for something that isn't even there in the first place, because it's being dampened, the immune system is being switched off. There's countless research papers which, if anybody wants to get in touch and ask me for these, I can link you to them. So it begs the question, why are all the medical establishments testing for antibodies if there are countless scientific papers, even by members of the IDSA, the CDC, which prove that antibodies can be switched off? I mean, this has been proved in humans, this has been proved in animals. So we're essentially looking for something that's not there, which means that a lot of people are given misdiagnoses and a lot of people are left to suffer. Also, if there was the Lyme vaccine, which was put onto the market in the 90s, which got taken off the market because people started reacting adversely to it. That vaccine itself contained outer surface protein, OSPA, to try and make the body be able to recognise Lyme and deal with it effectively. But then what happened is people started getting sick with the same sort of symptoms that people get when they get Lyme disease, like late stage Lyme disease that's been untreated. And what that suggests is that what's going on might not necessarily be directly to do with the bacteria, but it's actually more to do with an immune suppression, kind of like AIDS, where your body just becomes so suppressed that all these other infections can start building up and make you sick, and you just carry it along with these, and they start stacking up like bricks, and you have to carry these things along with you. So then it begs the question, a lot of these Lyme protocols are very antibiotic based, completely antibiotic based, some of them, which means that what's essentially you're doing is you're getting rid of the thing that maybe caused the problem in the first place, but the after effects, which is the immune dysfunction, that isn't being dealt with at all, and that's the thing that really needs to be dealt with. I mean, with AIDS, we have actually made so much progress in that people with AIDS can live a relatively normal life and feel relatively okay. Obviously, the word relative is important there, but the same isn't being done to that extent for Lyme disease, and it desperately needs to be. Because we're not dying on the doorsteps, I think that's the reason that it's not happening. But it needs to happen so much because it is an epidemic. It's rising. You'll see it. You'll hear stories of celebrities. You've got like Avril Lavigne and Yolanda Foster and some other people. You'll see eventually it will become such a problem that you can't ignore it. So why wait for it to get to epidemic proportions before we start going, okay, if there's immune dysfunction, how can we reset this immune dysfunction? If there is persistence, and there are countless papers which prove that there is persistence in humans, in monkeys, in mice, it's shown that Lyme disease, Borrelia, can persist. I will link you to these papers if you want. Again, these papers have been done by members of the IDSA, the CDC, in similar papers. So why then is the stance that once you've been treated with 2 weeks of antibiotics, you're just left to rot? That's what I don't understand, and that's what really drastically needs to change. Linking it to other illnesses, if we're looking for antibodies and we don't make antibodies, if you're looking at illnesses like ALS, MS, ME, any sort of autoimmune condition, and you rule out Lyme disease with antibodies, perhaps these people do have Lyme disease and they're left to get worse and worse and worse over the course of their life, because Lyme disease is a progressive illness, because we're looking for the wrong thing and we're looking in the wrong places, and then we're looking at cures which aren't cures, they're just symptom suppression. So we give anti-inflammatories, antidepressants, we let people feel a little bit better, but they just stay sick and they maintain sick and they get worse and worse. And people with Lyme disease or MS or ME who are watching this video will be jumping up because they'll be able to relate to that. So what I say to you is okay, This is another very important thing, and it's directly to the Lyme and M.E. and MS, all those sufferers, is we are kind of fragmented because we're all looking for our own personal cures in different places. Like, I'm going, oh, I can do this herbal protocol, I can do this antibiotic protocol. But what that essentially does is makes us scatter to the wind, when what we need is to be solid, man. We need to be one unit if we're to overcome this. Like with the AIDS, there was a movement, and that same movement isn't happening because everybody is on their own individual little journey to get better. But I can tell you this, when there's a cure, it will be a cure for absolutely everyone. It won't be a cure for just me, it won't be a cure for just somebody else who's followed that individual protocol. When there's a cure, it will be a cure for everybody. And what we need to do is we need to rally, and we need to join as people, as a group, as a collective. And this isn't just sick people, healthy people that know people that are suffering. You owe it to your loved ones to band together. Needs to be a movement if we're to overcome this. Anybody watching, please, please, please take this seriously. This goes for Lyme doctors as well. Any Lyme doctors who are treating with antibiotics that know that patients keep relapsing and getting sick, you owe it to your patients to start going, okay, if people are relapsing, we need to all work together. Take profit out of the equation, take monetary gain, all of that stuff. Take it all out of the equation, because we are facing an epidemic, and we need to get in touch with our human sides, not our business sides, if we're to make progress in this. That goes for pharmaceutical companies, that goes for government agencies who aren't looking at this hard enough. We just need to put an end to the suffering. And it's not just for my sake. Like, I would happily die for the cause if it means that people don't have to go through this, because I've been fucking left, man. My job, my dream job, that's gone. And I've had to basically been housebound for most of my 20s, and that's really fucking tough. So I'm asking you, like, all the top, Gemsek, Horowitz, Klinghardt, all of those top doctors, you need to start working together, not separately with your own individualised antibiotic protocols. You need to all start working together for the sake of me, for the sake of every single person that comes into your door and supplies you with your income, please. That's what I'm saying. And to every Lyme patient, please start uniting, and don't get sidetracked by all these, okay, oh, I went to this, I did this treatment, this treatment, this treatment. Now is the time that we have to unite, and now is the time that we have to make our voices loud, man. This is ME and Lyme Disease Awareness Month, and I will be doing my best until the day that I die, or until the day that this illness is cured, to make sure that something happens, and that is my promise. So I want the same promise, you know, from like people like Keith, I've forgotten how to pronounce his last name, but KDM, all of you people who are looking at Lyme disease, from the CDC, the IDSA, all of you people who are looking at it, you owe it. Regardless if it's post-treatment Lyme disease or chronic Lyme disease, I know there's a lot of debate between those two things, the outcome is the same. Patients are suffering because of something, and it could be to do with an immune cascade. That means that people are becoming immune tolerant, which means that a lot of other illnesses and infections are suppressing them, like AIDS. Whatever, regardless of the terminology or the actual disease mechanisms itself, the most important thing is we start pouring efforts into creating global relief from this now. Thank you.